Bunch of chestnuts here. I'm out here seeing things. And it is early spring. You can tell, of course, by these daffodils. And it is eclipse time. It's about 2:15. Maybe getting to be 2:30 here in Providence. And that means the sun is starting to partially get eclipsed. It's a beautiful day in the low 60s. And we've got some light cloud cover. But the total eclipse doesn't occur for about another hour. And here, it's getting to 92%, which is pretty good. But it never really gets totally dark. It's just going to get a little dim. And I thought that would be interesting to capture over time here with the camera. I don't have an hour and a half's worth of battery. I don't think I want to capture that much anyway. So I will be shutting this off periodically. But while I'm up here on the hill, I wanted to capture the commemorative plaque here, placed by Rhode Island Society of the Sons of the American Revolution. Not sure when. It says, on this ground between Hope Street and North Main Street and north of Rochambeau Avenue, the French troops commanded by Count Rochambeau were encamped in 1782 on their return march from Yorktown. So I don't know when they put this thing in here. It looks like there is a very fine date down the bottom, erected by the state of Rhode Island. No date. If there's a date on this thing, it's hidden. Okay, well, is what it is. And I'm just gonna head down the hill here. I would guess 1920s. I don't think it's terribly old. 100 years old. Around here, that isn't too much, considering what it commemorates. And from here, I think if that said they were marching here or marching back, I think they were coming back from Yorktown. So, but I know Rochambeau did come up when he first arrived through Newport and then into Bristol. And so I'm heading down the hill here to the North Burial Ground, and when I get there I'm going to look for some kind of tree. There's not many leaves right now. It's a little early, you know. We don't really get leaves here for another 2 or 3 weeks. As usual, I seem to always be here on trash day. I'm always dodging bins. But yeah, so you know that whole thing where you're supposed to be able to see many shadows of the eclipse in leaves projected on the ground. Well, that's going to be a challenge. There's plenty of branches, and there's pine trees, and maybe there'll be some flowered tree or tree with buds. But other than that, I don't see myself capturing too many shadows. So, in any case, I'm going to turn this off till I get into the cemetery. Having the privilege of coming into this stone entrance here today. Not usually open, or often not open. Some kind of 1800s stone walkway here. Stone staircase. We'll be able to see once I walk down it what it looks like from the ground. It just has a little columns there at the entrance, not much to look at. But here now, it's nice and calm today too. So we do have bright sun still. Eclipse just starting. It's like an hour and a half long event. But yeah, check that thing out. 1897 it says on it, so just turn of the century. And this is kind of the north end of the North Burial Ground. Kind of a modern section over here. A lot of Armenians. I think that's what that flag is there, kind of a orange with a blue stripe in the middle. Well, it looks like the top, I think that's just faded. The top orange is a little deeper than the bottom orange. But that might just be that particular flag. But yeah, you can even see right there some of the Armenian alphabet, whatever that is, I don't know. It's not Cyrillic. It's a totally different style, not English either. And you can also see lots of flowers. So these are much more recently visited as opposed to just across the way here. We start to get into much more historic territory. Well, let's see who we can see today. Rather large stone in front of me. This is Eleanor Gaffett. Don't know who that is. Got the pond more or less in front of me. Let's see. I feel like that there's a General Bartlett around here. We'll see if we run across him. Ah, very interesting. I've been looking for this one. Let's see, am I capturing it? I am. Charles H. Dow, 1851 to 1902. With malice toward none, with charity to all. That is the Dow of the Dow-Jones Industrial Average. He was a guy from Connecticut who moved to Rhode Island. He worked in the worked at the Providence Journal. He was a journalist. Look him up. Fascinating character, fascinating life. As you can see, he only lived to be about 51. And so yeah, he had moved to Rhode Island, worked in the newspaper, then went out to New York and to Colorado. He did a lot of historical writing, and of course he did business journalism. So fascinating character, founder of the Wall Street Journal, co-founder of the Wall Street Journal. And somehow he ended up here in the North Burial Ground. I know he's got other family members here. I thought they would be more immediate, but I'm not seeing any other Dow stones. Got some people in the corner there looking for, well, who knows, it could be, no, they look like eclipse watchers to me. Yeah, those are eclipse watchers. So it looks like I'm not the only one with the bright idea to come down here during the eclipse. You got a big, wide sky. We get some partial cloud cover. So this Markland is a beautiful stone here next to this tree, at the base of the tree, kind of in the shadow. The sun's really hitting my lens here. Interesting little section here as well. Actually, I've never come through just this little corner. This is very odd looking. What is this? 1887 to 1905. These are some Freemason statues, all worn away on the top. I can't read it. Eleanor Benson. Interesting. Some Gorhams, probably from the Gorham Silver Company, which I don't think exists anymore. But yeah, this is an interesting little corner here with interesting views. I didn't see General Barton. I've run into him before, but there's a Barton to my left, but that's not him. So we are Bartonless. That's all right. We're going up the hill here. Plenty of folks to see, I'm sure. As I'm traveling south. I do have quite the haze on the viewfinder, and I'm wondering if the eclipse is just impacting the quality of the light here, because it is quite strange. George Hale. There is a George Hale library in Warren, Rhode Island. I bet that's him. I don't know who he was or what he did, but he's got an interesting stone. And I like this one here too, 1821 to 1896 next to it. Don't know who that is, but somebody in the Hale category. Elizabeth Hale. Pike, that's quite a beefy stone for Charles Pike. This is an old looking stone here. Probably nothing, but I'm just going to check a look here. Oh, that's a tough read. Can't read it. And again, I'm kind of into the sun here. I don't want to be. Marcy Rice, it says. Coming up to the middle section here where I normally enter. G.J. Sherman. Sherman family here. And there's another prominent stone here. Take a look at. Sabin, Hannah Sabin. Kind of a Washington Monument shaped stone. And another marbly one over there. Let me just take a look at that. That Washington Monument is actually Cook. It has Hannah Sabin on the side that we saw it from. But that's an old governor. I'm going to go back and check that one out. But I just wanted to see this one. I've never inspected this. We have Joshua Gray. And this says Peter Smith Murray. No idea. But 1840s. Interesting kind of stone. So again, here we see this Washington Monument shaped monolith, obelisk. And that is Cook, and we see a governor's plaque down below. Governor Nicholas Cook, 1775 to 76. So this is American Revolution. Oh, that is hard to read. But it says something about having the confidence of Washington down below. Very interesting. So, very early governor. So I don't know if you just heard that owl. I'm also seeing birds circling in a strange way in the sky. Just to the left of this tree. They're really high up though. But yeah, just wanted to, just kind of also observe the behavior of animals during this whole event. Because, this is an unusual thing. The sun is bright as ever. It's only barely being touched by the shadow at this point. I guess this is a solar eclipse, and I guess that means that the moon is passing between the sun and the earth. And that is definitely, as it gets darker, I don't expect it to get too dark, even though we're at 92%. It stays pretty bright, but it's going to get dim. That's for sure. Nancy Brown, that's an interesting stone. I like the grapes on that. The grape frame carving. And Tiffany, Henry Tiffany. I wonder if this has any relation to Louis Comfort Tiffany, the famous Tiffany of Tiffany Studios, Tiffany Glass, Tiffany Lamps, etc. It may. It may. So yeah, everything does look a bit washed out. That tall one there is Horace Mann, the educator. I visited before. He died in Yellow Springs, Ohio. Dave Chappelle's current hometown. Sort of put that town on the map in more recent memory. Maybe before that, it was Horace Mann was the most famous son. I've still got a little bit of congestion here coming off a cold. It's been a harsh spring. It's been very wet. Very rainy. Some interesting stones here. Packard, Henry Packard, died in 1860. Shoebale Arnold, strange name. Luke and Phoebe Arnold, 1825. In memory of 4 children of William and Phoebe Tillinghast, Randalls, Williams, all kinds of folks here. Early settlers. And as usual, things are in various states of disrepair. And also as usual, except for that little group of eclipse viewers, I've got the place to myself. But this is a rough section here. There are a lot of down stones. My goodness. So sad. So pitiful. This is a nice old one here. Sarah something. I can't quite read it. It's too much in the shade. Look at all these down stones. My goodness. And even these sort of crypt-like stones here are falling apart. Here's an interesting one that I haven't come across before. Kind of identifiable or recognizable by this set of disheveled tombs. And actually, these are some interesting stones here too. Power, Miss Anne Power. The carving is quite deep on that. Born in 1740, died in 1798. She was of a most ingenious and affectionate spirit. Her temper was remarkably sweet, and in her manners she manifested an uncommon affection. And there's something in italics on the bottom, but I can't quite read that. And same thing here. So that was Mrs. Mary Power. This is Miss Anne Power on the left, daughter of Nicholas Power. We have Power Street in Providence. I have to assume this is the family it was named after. Born 1758. After exhibiting a long life of sincere affection, unaffected piety, something this mandatory? Something existence for a never-ending something. She died. I can't tell. Anyway, and then Mrs. Comfort Arnold here is kind of an interesting stone, nice and deep carving. 1820. But initially, I was looking here at 1803 to 1878, Sarah Helen Whitman. That's the betrothed of Edgar Allan Poe, the woman who worked at the Athenaeum, and they were engaged to be married. And I think he had some addiction to laudanum, so he had some kind of a detox episode that wasn't too flattering, and then I guess he was also betrothed to someone else, and that put an end to that whole thing. But she lived a long life, much longer than Poe. She died at 75, as you can see here. And she stayed in Providence. I read something about her. She used to run seances, so I think she kind of played up that whole Poe thing, kind of capitalized on that after he died, and kind of stayed in that industry of the occult. Captain John Whipple died in 1769. I think there's a whole Whipple plot over here. I'm not sure who it is. It's Colonel Joseph Whipple that's kind of fallen down there. And I cannot read the date. April, Anno Domini, looks like 1785. But I think one of these is the first stone in this cemetery. The oldest stone. And I'm not sure which one. Colonel John Whipple, Mary, wife of Captain Charles Barden, another memory of Captain John Whipple. So there's quite a few John Whipple stones here. One of these is the first stone in the cemetery that, essentially before it was a cemetery even. Mr. Joseph Whipple. So these are children now getting in the 1800s. And here's some interesting stones here. George Law, who departed this life August 1709. So it doesn't have his birth year, age 55. So whatever that comes to. Oh no, this is 1769. So he was born in the early 1700s. Mr. John Stewart died in 1737 in his 36th year. So he was born in 1701. In memory of Captain Daniel Cook, died in 1767 in his 46th year. So quite common back then to die in your 30s and 40s. Not so old. Although I think a lot of people did live to be quite old. This is a nice spot here in the shade. This is one of the things I wanted to look for, is the shadow of trees, to see if I could see any of the eclipse in it. But as I was saying, there's no leaves right now, so that's going to be tough. I'm going to have a hard time seeing this eclipse manifest in anything. But yeah, so a lot of people live to an old age. It's the infant mortality that takes the average lifespan down. This is nice today, I gotta say. It's just beautiful weather. It's peaceful. It's a perfect place to view an eclipse. I don't have any eclipse glasses, so I'm not looking at the sun. But it's happening right now. And it's not going to peak until 3:30. So I'm going to pause this again at some point and pick it up later, because I don't have enough battery for all that. I'm just seeing an interesting stone here. Wanted to investigate. It's got quite a beautiful carving on the top. Mary Salisbury, daughter of Joshua Salisbury, died in 1788, aged 20-something, 25 years maybe, not much. So even if we have shitty lives, we have longer lives than these folks, generally speaking. Not to say that people don't die young now, but obviously quite common back then. And that's just the state of medicine. If you got something in particular, there was no way out for you other than the grave. You either got sick and survived, or you didn't. And medicine didn't have much to say there. Holy cow, what a beautiful section here. Look at these gorgeous stones. I didn't even know where to begin. I must have seen some of these before. Baker, the body of Thomas King, who died in 1723 at the age of 33, so born 1690. But just beautiful patina on these things. Smiths behind me in the next row. Alice Jenks died in 1735 in her 72nd year. So this is somebody born in like 1660. Sarah Comstock. Again, these beautiful carvings on the top. I hope you're noticing that. Fantastic. John Comstock, Esquire. In memory of Captain Christopher Smith, who departed 17th day of February, anno something. The year's buried in the ground there now, unfortunately. Miss Abigail Church, or Curie rather. Just a gorgeous section here. Many beautiful carvings. Look at the depth on this carving here with 3 doves. I'm not sure what that symbolizes, if that's a trinity or what. Mr. Daniel Smith, that was his wife with the carvings. October 1770, age 73. So again, another one born 1697. I mean, look at these carvings. This is fantastic here. Here lieth the body of Sarah, daughter of William Harris, Esquire. And again, the 3 doves. I'll have to look that up. That's fantastic. Really clear on that one. Another one. These are just holding up beautifully. I feel like I've not really seen this section before. Abigail, the wife of William Harris, Esquire, died in 1724 at the age of 46, so somebody born in the 1670s. Something like that, if my math is close. In memory of Nathaniel Sweeting, 1758 in his 38th year. 1758, Henry Sweeting, 70th year. So again, 1680s we're looking at for birth year. Which, you know, there are definitely people born earlier here. There's a whole grouping of old stones. But if so, you know, there's a good chance they were born in England. And this will be a good time to pause. I feel as though the quality of the light is changing. Things are getting dimmer. And it is a bit strange. There's an eerie quiet here now. Outside of the sounds of the highway, it has an eerie quiet, that's for sure. Kind of towards the center, north now, with the Brown family crypt up there, the beautiful slate roof. I'm just coming down this mossy hill, working my way over to the Quaker section. Which I never visited before, because it's going to be over there, so it's against the highway, and I don't usually bother to go over there. It's noisy, and it's just not on the way to anything. It's over in the corner, but I want to see the grave of Moses Brown. Moses Brown, who's over there, is a famous Quaker, brother of the founders of Brown University himself, the namesake of Moses Brown School. Other than that, I don't know his claim to fame, what he actually achieved, other than preaching pacifism and being a generally good Quaker. And this also gets into more modern sections here. So we have, again, more Armenians in front of us, among others. It's not a strictly Armenian section. And there are a few older stones here. Not a ton. Besides the highway noise, I haven't been in the wind. With the one saving grace over here being that there are some beautiful pines here for shade. Actually, a strange gate just sort of sitting here with no fence. Let's take a look at that. It's a bit odd. Makes me think there was once a fence around this Quaker section here. This is a beautiful little spot right here. These trees do help. And whoever got this little section here underneath the trees got a pretty cool spot. That's quite placid, even though it's next to the highway. The trees for the Robinsons here really help. So this is the Quaker section. A lot of these humble stones here, and this is a task to find Moses Brown amidst all this. There aren't that many stones, but they all kind of look the same. So let me go down here towards the front. Arnold Green, that's a nice sharp stone there. Whole bunch of greens. Let's get to the front here. Eliza Banks. Here's some browns. A Brown, anyway. Bowen. Some Bowens. If you know anything about Quakers, maybe you know the names. Buffum. Nope. So, Edwards. It's a nice one that's unfortunately been on the ground. Steer. And there he is. How about that? He stands out. He's bright white, Moses Brown. Died in 1836, 97 years. So He would have been born in 1739, thereabouts, but quite bright compared to the ones around him. Some other Browns. Phoebe Brown. I don't know. But we're getting to be in eclipse time. Next half hour, I would say, we'll be reaching peak. So I'm going to turn it off again and revisit a little later. So we are just about peak eclipse here. And it's a bit dim out. It's not bad. And I've got some eclipse glasses here, so I'm going to attempt to look at the sun here with the camera. See what happens. There you go. That's about as good as it's going to get with this camera. Maybe you can see that. 92% roughly. Hopefully that's not burning my camera out. It's pretty cool looking down here with the glasses. So it is definitely dim out right now. The eclipse is peaking, and it's dim. I mean, I've got regular sunglasses on, but when I lift them, it doesn't look like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Here I am at the Bannister Memorial, which has been defaced. It doesn't say Bannister on it anymore. But you can probably pick up the dimness. See the city skyline in the distance. It's all a bit dim right now, but hardly dark. We are only 8% off the maximum coverage, and there's a lot of light. So if I'd gone up to Burlington, Vermont, it's about as close as I could get, which is a good 5-hour drive from here. So I was not going to do that. There's some more Dows. I wonder if they're related to the Charles Dow. My shadow is a bit strange, but not too strange. Again, I wanted to look for the tree shadows to see if I could see the eclipse apparent. But I don't see it apparent. You can see the shadow here of this tree. It's not a leafy tree, so it is hard to see. Maybe the shadows do look a little scattered, but not much. Not like it might be for a leafy tree. And I just wanted to see what this stone is here. This American Revolution. In honor of Colonel Israel Angel, Major of Colonel Daniel Hitchcock's Regiment, 1775. Erected by the Rhode Island Society of the Sons of the American Revolution, 1918. More allies in the Revolution here. And then this is a French memorial behind me, but I just wanted to check this one out too. It says General Alfred Duffy, born in Paris, 1835, lieutenant in the French Army, colonel of 1st Rhode Island Cavalry, and general in the U.S. Army, 1861 to 1865. So this is a Civil War guy. That's interesting. A French Civil War ally. And this, we see the fleur-de-lis multiple times. Gratitude of Rhode Island, 1782 in the front, and the fleur-de-lis on top. So here we have some French alliance during the Revolution. This is a section I don't come to very often. Let's see how that eclipse is doing. Horrible motorcycles. People are out trying to check out this eclipse in various ways, trying to experience it, and just driving around in the somewhat dim light is a way of experiencing it, I suppose. But yeah, there's more people coming in, definitely more people than I usually get when I walk around this cemetery. I usually have it to myself. But it's shadowy right now, there's no question. Coming up on the Elks section here. I'm in the shadow of a tree, so I'll get another look. It's quite the sliver right now. I'm gonna see if I can get another look with the camera out here. Here we go again. Well, these Civil War graves here, or World War I as well. Civil War more towards the front, World War I on this side. Yeah. Why not?
Did I actually just saw it downtown?
Yeah.
Did you take a picture of it?
I did kinda, but I don't know, how well it works.
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
It's better with like the two on your eyes. Yeah, you want to put that right up to the lens. That's it. And then it's tough. Try it. Just put it on your head first. Just take a look. See what you're looking for. See it? Yeah, you definitely need the glasses to tell. That's why I say if you put that right up against the lens, maybe you'll have some luck. Be careful. Anything? The camera, yeah, you need a special filter for the camera lens, I think. Tell, not too bad. Nice try, though. Yeah, see it. He's trying to capture it with his iPhone, having no luck. So, I think I've seen everything I'm going to see. You can see the folks out there on the hill looking for it. I'm just going to walk back here in this dim light just because it is a unique time. Walking by the old Mayor of Providence, Mayor Bridgham's stone here. In Wayland, who was some kind of a lawyer. Seeing a bunch of Hopkins here. I don't know if the Essex Hopkins is here. See John Hopkins. Essex was the Secretary of the Navy, and I feel like I would see more stuff. If it was Essex, I'd see more military, more flags, things of that nature. Plenty of noise today between cars, motorcycles, police, fire, trains. So this is also, not that you could tell with that damn siren, but this is also when the birds are getting quiet. If there were any what a disaster with the noise. Ruining my solitude. Thank you. Good Lord. It's an old rough tree here. And then it's an interesting stone. Rusty color, Joseph Martin. Back at Sarah Helen Whitman. Poe's Betrothed. Come full circle here. Made it over to Moses Brown. So Charles Dow in Whitman. The only person I've not found in here that I want to is Canonicus, who signed the deed to Roger Williams. He was the Narragansett chief. He's not actually here, but they made a commemorative stone to him in the 1800s. And I know I've seen it before, but I can't seem to find it again. I don't know where it is. But if you look that one up online, you'll see a pretty cool image of the commemoration. They took some photos when they put that stone in, and it seemed to be quite a day, quite an event. And they're kind of on a little bit of a hillside, so I've looked around where it's hilly, and I just can't seem to find it. But I will find that one again someday. But that was a fun eclipse day at the cemetery. Everything's a little bit cyan colored, you know. It's a little funky today. But we're now on the other side of the eclipse. So slowly getting a bit brighter. And I am hearing birds, so they're not too freaked out. It's not like it got pitch black. As I come back out to the exit here at Rochambeau. So I feel as though I'm actually seeing the eclipses here in the shadow of this tree. These shadows are a bit unusual, and you can see all these curves. And that's pretty cool. That's the first time I've seen that in the wild. There just aren't enough leaves right now, but this tree's got buds on it, and it's producing the effect.